Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the judges, it's you know, you've got hugely successful, multi-award winning, decades-long careers that are there, and you have some guys that are pretty young and fresh and just starting. So, unlike most contests, right? Whenever you are in a contest, they give you a style guide. And so, if you're judging at GABF or you're judging at World Cup or whatever, they tell you, okay, you're judging Scotch Ale. You can be like, oh shit, I don't know anything about Scotch Ale. And then they give you the guidelines, and if you're good at what you do, you smell it, you evaluate it, you drink it, and you talk about it, and that's how you decide how you advance beers. Well, here, the directives are you define what West Coast IPA is, so define it amongst yourselves. And it's quite possible that what that table is looking for is different than what that table is looking for. And that guy won gold for IPA twice, and that guy won gold for IPA twice at GABF. He's won first place twice here. Evans won twice here. You know what I mean? So you have guys who have enormous breadth of experience, and they all have a different slant on it. Even when they get to the final table, there's 5 beers. Each brewer goes up and sits by themselves and evaluates the 5 beers, and they rank 1, 2, and 3. 4 and 5 they don't get scored. First place gets 5 points. Second place gets 3 points. Third place gets 1 point, and then we just tally it up. If your beer makes it to the final table, your ballot doesn't count. And we've had that a lot.
Yeah.
And we used to tell people, hey, your ballot's not going to count. Now we don't tell them. And last year we had one person who voted for their own beer as they didn't count, but they voted for their own beer as number 2. Which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was when I asked him, he said, "Oh, I thought my beer was the 3rd place beer." I said there were 4 beers that were so similar. In my, I don't have the palate these guys have, but they were so similar that had you like swapped them around while I turned my head, I would have never known.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that's great. What I've noticed is that the lighter beers, because the range is 6 to 8, and the reason why we do that is because basically California IPA, after 8, you're basically a double IPA.
Right.
What I've noticed is that beers that are below 7 and below have a hard time standing out. Because in the first round, maybe, but in the second round, your palate's a little worn, and you take a sip of something, and it may lack that punch, that little thing. And some brewers have gotten through with less, but in general, like when I look at the list and I see these like 6-4 beers, it's gonna be tough for them. Sometimes good beers get pushed out, and I've seen beers that are great 6.8 beers, but they're at a table where they just happen to be against a couple of 7.7, 7.8, and it just doesn't stand out, and it just pushes to the side. As someone who drinks and prefers lower ABV beers, I hate to see that. I prefer beers that are on the lower end of that.
Yeah.
But it is a little hard to get through.
Yeah.